Hey, how's it going, everybody? I hope well. You can hear my dog walking on the floor. I Today we have a job skills class. It's kind of impromptu because schedule changed a little bit this week, but yeah. So job skills. So this is gonna be, it's just something to keep in mind as we start to get back to looking for jobs and things like that. Once you kind of move on from program and decide that I want a place of my own if possible, and it is possible. And then also what you'll need to look for when it comes to having a job, like some of the skills that you'll really need again when it comes to having a job. And kind of it's kind of a beginning job. You've been working very much here at program, but it's a little bit different when you move into the realm of you know I don't. Depends on what jobs you get. It could be fast food. It could be working at a grocery store. It could be janitorial work. But it could be a lot of things. Depending. Apply for as much as possible. That's what I always tell people. You never know. I've gotten some of my best jobs by just applying and being like, well, let's see. I mean, it doesn't hurt to apply. They can just say no, and then I'll be like, okay, well, I'll move on to my next interview. But this is, what to look for once you have that job. So we'll go over some stuff. So, and this is how to make a good impression at your job when you first started. So you've moved on from program, and now you're about to embark on a life-altering experience. You will start a new job. At least it's the first job you've had since you were part time when you were at program. And after spending approximately the last years of your life, you know, a bunch of years, just in the program, working hard, getting educated, um, and getting tested periodically to see how well you remember things, how well you've done at things in program, and it's a good time of reflection. You'll soon discover that there are quite a that things are quite a bit different out there. So now you're going to be put in a position to work with uh, the general population. A lot of the work that we do, it's centered around program. It doesn't have as much to do with interacting with other people, or very minimally, with other people. Maybe at the park once in a while you talk to somebody, but typically, or the senior center, typically it's just us. So remember when you were in program and you were assigned something, which we've done in different classes, just like different quizzes that people have done, and one of the staff told you about it at the beginning of the class, but it wasn't due until the end of the class, and you had plenty of time, you know, to complete the task, unless you procrastinated, and then sometimes it takes a little while longer for everyone. But most of the time that I've noticed, everybody does really well, and there's not much procrastination. Just questions. So when you start a new job, you will find things are very different. Your deadlines won't be months away anymore, and you can't procrastinate because you will likely miss them. There's good news about the classes that staff has provided, with like time constraints, especially when it comes to cooking classes and things like that. That might have been a little bit stressful at times, but there's good news about that. Your employer won't give you any. The bad news is that you will still be tested every day. The results will not come in like as you meet your goal, but instead in performance reviews. So they'll review how you've been performing on the job. Your boss will be observing how you perform your job and will also keep an eye on how you act. Don't let him or her catch you engaged in bad behavior at work. So, why is your employer watching you? You may think it's a money thing. That is, of course, true, but it isn't the only reason. Your performance in program impacted you alone. Your performance at work will affect the organization as a whole, your bosses, and even your coworkers. So now we're going to go over some tips to help you succeed once you've decided to take that step outside of program and find a job that you really want to work. And so we'll go over some of these tips that will really help you succeed outside of program. Because it is much different, I promise. So, number 1, always arrive at work on time. Consider arriving a little early even. Stick to your lunch hour, and if you are particularly busy, eat at your desk or eat near the job site so that you're not late coming back from lunch. I do remember Patron, Ron, he always was there early. Like, he would get to work early pretty much every single day. And be in his car and, just wait till it was time to walk in. But he was always there on time. And I always liked that about Ron. I learned a lot about that. I'm typically there on time, but, there are times I've been late. He was never late, unless it was an emergency. And dress appropriately. Look around you to see what others are wearing, especially those who are further along on the same career path you want to be on. For example, if depending on where you work, don't dress like the art director whose job allows a more casual style. So, one thing that I've always done for work is I make sure that my clothes are ironed. Depending on the day. Like, if it's a jean day, then, you're wearing jeans and really you don't need to iron jeans, which I've done before. And then my brother scoffed me because I ironed my jeans, and they're supposed to be casual pants. And if you're working at the park, it's better to wear jeans than nice pants because they might get dirty. But, make sure you come in looking professional each day. Go in to impress, dress to impress. And it's amazing how far that will actually help you in your job. So I suggest that to you very highly. And you can go a lot further in the job, if people see, like, they care about what they're doing, and that's always a good thing. Listen, and observe is the next tip. Spend your first few weeks on your first job or any job listening and watching what's going on around you. You will learn a lot if you do this. Now, the good thing about a new job is you're new at it. You need training, and they'll start you out slowly. And then, again, with the observance from your boss or supervisor, they will start to assess what you can and can't do so well, and they'll kind of, base it on that. But if you're really doing well, listen and watch. Watch people. Watch how other people, if you want to work like somebody and you see, oh man, they're working really fast, observe them. Observe what they do. And you'll be able to get ahead a lot faster. They'll give you more responsibility, but it'll be a lot more money. And so, take that into consideration. If you like where you are, then stay where you are, but always do an amazing job at what you're doing. So again, listen, and observe. So watch. Keep those eyes open. Also, don't spread gossip and try best to avoid becoming the subject of it. That's not to say you shouldn't keep an ear to the grapevine, because you might pick up some valuable information. Learn how to separate truth from fiction. Now, gossip is one of those things that will happen at every workplace, and sometimes it's difficult to diffuse. The best thing to do is, don't rat anybody out, but you should talk to that person. Say, this is something I don't really want to talk about. If somebody's gossiping about somebody else, it's not something I really want to talk about. I don't know them that well, but it's definitely not something I, feel like I should talk about. But there are times that you should be listening to what people are saying about others, mainly because you will find out some useful information that way, but you don't want to be in the middle of it. You want to try to stay out of as much as possible. But if two coworkers are arguing and gossiping, it's possible that the longer you work there, and I've had this experience, that you can actually diffuse that and create a bond between both of them. And so, it is good to listen, but at the same time, don't gossip. It's a much different thing. So, oh, this person isn't doing that much, or that person's not doing what they should be doing. Again, focus on yourself. Focus on what you can do, and that will go very far. And again, supervisors and bosses are they're watching, and if they see that you're not engaged in that, that's going to be the best for you. Another tip is to mind your manners. Don't forget what you learned as a child from your parents and such. Please and thank you should still be the magic words. Always knock before you enter. That's very important. Although barging into your friend's room, say if you lived in a group home, may be okay with him, but barging into your supervisor's office is not okay. You don't know what they're doing. If you are invited to join your colleagues for lunch, be aware there are certain things you should never do at a business lunch. Keep it business, and that's what you should do. Try not to get engaged too much with where other people are going. And also sometimes you see somebody in an office and you're like, oh, they're not working that hard. They actually have a lot of work to do. Derek, Kevin, and Marie, they work very hard. And they have a lot of things that are on their mind, but they will stop and take the time out for you when they still have a ton of work they have to do, and it's continual. And believe me, I know, because I've been there. Learn proper telephone etiquette. So it depends on what job you get. Sure, you've been using a phone your entire life, but probably not for work. You should know how to politely make and receive calls. So, hellos, goodbyes. Pardon me. Be polite. Be courteous to the person on the other end of. Pardon me. On the other end of the phone. And the main reason is it goes a long way. You can diffuse situations just by being kind on the phone. And say, how can I help you? I'm here. And, I've been yelled at on the phone. And some people will, hang up if somebody yells at them. Me, I want to find out what's going on. And if you can do that and say, so what can I do to help? I will pass this on to my supervisor. If it's something beyond your pay grade, you should definitely pass it on to your supervisor. But if it's something you can handle yourself, just do it kindly. Talk, even if they're angry, with a situation, talk to them the way you would want to be talked to. And say, okay, let me see what I can do. That's the best I can do, really, is to find out what I can do. And if you can do it right then, do it right then. Find a mentor. This is important. Look for someone on your career path that is willing to take you under their wing. Your supervisor may not be a good idea, but someone else who works under their supervision may be a good mentor, because it's not his position always. There's plenty of women in the workplace too, and but it's a good person to find, But again, don't engage in gossip. But, ask for help when you need help. Say, hey, I notice how you do this really quickly. Can you help me out with that? And even if you move on from program and find a job, feel free to call me. And, if you have questions, let me know. and I will do my best. And jobs aren't going to be easy, but they are a way to independence, and that's what I want for y'all. Don't pretend to know things you don't. It's another tip. Instead, do your homework to gather all the information you need. Yeah, don't jump ahead. If you don't know, it's fine. It's fine to not know. Say, I have no idea. What do you think? And ask your boss. Say, I don't know. What do you think? And they'll say, well, I think this, and then you can kind of build from there. But if you really don't know, just admit you don't know. Well, that's the next one. When you don't know how to do something, ask questions. You may feel silly, really, revealing gaps in your knowledge, but everyone knows you are just starting out. It is much better than delaying a project because you did it incorrectly. So again, ask questions as you go along the way. It's important, and it helps so much. Learn how to manage your time. It will help you meet all your deadlines. It is a must unless your boss tells you there is some flexibility with the due date, and that's all depending on what job you're doing. But making sure you're there on time, taking your lunches on time, and also like we have this many orders that we need to get done. And again, that's good to find a mentor, outside of just being trained, and say, okay, well, this is how many more orders I need to get done, and just try to think about it, like, oh, how can I get this done the most efficiently? And if you manage your time well, I mean, that goes over really well with any boss, any supervisor. And finally, pay close attention to the corporate culture, because we all end up working for corporations or a form of a corporation at some point. So learn how things are done within your organization. Are relationships formal or friendly? So there are places that you work where things are more relaxed, and there are other places you work where they're not relaxed. This is how you do it. Does everyone arrive early and stay late? Are lunch hours short or non-existent? Definitely make sure you have your lunch breaks. If you work over 4 hours, you deserve a lunch break. And give yourself a break if you don't always do as well as you would hope. It is your first job. It's not your first job, but it is your first job outside the program, and you will continue to improve. And just, I would say for the final thing here, and I really want you all to get jobs, and I really want to see you out there in the workplace, because it would be fantastic to be able to go somewhere and be like, oh, look at him go. That's fantastic. But make sure you take care of you. If you don't feel well, call in sick. Let your supervisors know immediately. If you need a break because things are becoming overwhelming, ask for a break. But be honest and just say, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need a break. I need to be able to, go outside and just get some air for a little bit. And we all need that throughout the day. So it's nothing that's unreasonable to ask for. But ultimately, think about that you're making life better for yourself. You're moving forward. And I really, really want to see everyone do this. And go out and get a job, have a car, and just have a wonderful time. So I look forward to it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. But again, for job skills, I want to make sure that you're all skilled. And if you have any questions about this, to ask me, and I will help in any way I possibly can. But I miss y'all. I can't wait till we get back to program, and we can do this in person, and we can even go out and apply for jobs. Maybe even start on some resumes. Okay, bye.